Welcome back to the Waterlogged Woodsman. Come with me. Today we're going to be going around Monterey and we're going to take a look at some different spots. And at each of these spots we're going to talk about what you should be looking for and what type of fish you should be looking for. Hopefully this will, as promised, teach you how to get your first fish spearfishing. Monterey is just kind of the local area, and this should apply mostly to where you are as well. I'm going to start this video with some important disclaimers, being that all divers should adhere to local laws and regulations. Do not dive in MPAs. If you don't know where they're at, look at my previous video, which I'll link above. I'm not going to tell you to dive anywhere specific and get in the water at your own risk, because you can drown at any beach. Now, the first place we're going to stop here in Monterey is Del Monte Beach, and Del Monte Beach might be the most obvious beach access we have here in Monterey. And the reason that is because it's our public beach. It's the most popular, it's the most busy, and it's got the most parking. Now, Del Monte Beach is a white sand beach, and what that means for us is it's not a lot of structure, but it does have a pier. And the pier creates structure. It causes bait to aggregate. It causes, barnacles and stuff to grow. So we pretty much can get the whole food chain that we want for the fish. Now, let's talk about what fish are available on a white sand beach. If you're looking for a great place to go for fish identification, I would recommend the California Marine Species Portal, which I will link below. It has some great illustrations here, which I'll be using, and it's great to look at. The fish that are available on white sand beach tend to be things like perch, which are going to be feeding on the grasses or along the pilings of the pier, and then we got halibut, because they like to live in the white sand. You'll also find bait fish, you'll find some smelt, stuff like that, but for the most part our target species here would be perch or halibut. Densities can depend on the area you're at, but for the most part this is going to be a good beginner spot, easy access. The white sand is easy to get in and out of. The water is easy to park before and get ready, get all your gear together at. So yeah, this is the kind of thing you should be looking for your first dive as a new spear fisherman, just to get comfortable, getting your gear on, getting in the water. But don't expect to kill a bunch of fish or any real quality fish unless, once again, you get lucky with a halibut. Okay, and the second spot we're going to talk about is a place called Otter's Cove. And it's different from Del Monte Beach because this place has a couple of things that you want to look for. One, easy water access. There's a staircase down to the water, and when you're new, it's best not to be going in jumping off cliffs. Two, clean beach. So white sand beach, easy to put your gear on, easy to get in. Once again, we're not trying to jump off cliffs. Three, it's got rocks. And what do rocks have? Well, there's a fish around here that's named after rocks, the rockfish. And honestly, rockfish taste a lot better than perch. So if you can get a rockfish as your first fish, you're in a lot better shape for liking the taste of fish that you kill the first time. Now, if you're saying I'm spot burning, or you don't like this video because I'm giving the names of specific locations, just know that if you dive these spots, you're also diving the most obvious spots on the beach. Anyone can drive this coastal road and get in the water anywhere. I'm just giving you an idea of some general locations where it's safe to get in the water. I don't want people getting in some of our rougher coastline here for their first time thinking, oh, it's safe, this is, somewhere where no one would have thought of, no one talked about. But we're trying to get people in the water and we're trying to do it safely. If you don't like the fact that I'm listing the names here, I'm sorry, but I'm really not giving anything away. This is stuff that you can drive by and get in. So we're actually pulling up to our third spot here right now, and if you stick around to the end, I'll give you some pointers as to what all of these spots had in common, why I'm recommending them, and why they are good beginner spots. But we're gonna go ahead and park here, bit of rough road, and we'll get out and we'll show you a third spot in a third place where we can recommend you to take a look and possibly get in the water for your first time. As I said, almost all of our coastline here is rock, and as you can see, a significant portion of this coast is rock. And I'm just going to be talking about a small portion of it. As you can see, we have multiple spots for parking along the coast here, and we're just looking for the best spot that's a combination of factors to get in the water the easiest for our first time. So that there was Point Pinos, and that was our third place I'm going to talk about. And if you couldn't tell what the similarities were between all these places for a beginner diver and the three things that you should be looking for as a beginner diver, then you weren't paying attention. Thing number one, parking. You don't want to be parking illegally. You don't want to be parking on private property. You want it to be legal access. The second thing, easy access to the water and a sandy beach. Now when you're first diving, you're going to be very uncomfortable with your equipment, specifically fins in your wetsuit. So it's nice to have something that makes it easy to get in and out of the water, and you don't have to worry about waves crashing into rocks for you. And the third and last thing is structure. Now at our first spot, the pier, the structure was the pier. At our second and third spots, there was very obvious rocky structure on the coastline. Now, almost all of the California coastline has some form of rocky structure, so it's just a matter of finding the right combination of these three things to get you in the water the first time and to get you in and out safely, so that way your first dive is enjoyable and hopefully you end up with a fish. But now that we've got these three things covered, we've gone over 3 spots, I'll get in the water here at a different spot, which I'm not going to tell you, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to get our first fish. I'm going to go through a couple species to look for, and then we'll get on with our day. As you can see, we were looking for a beach entry. We've got some rocks alongside of us here. And this tells us that there's structure in the water. Beach entry makes easy access. Rocks mean structure. Structure means fish. This is what we're looking for. Now we're going to find our first fish. It's usually not that hard. If you can tell from the rest of this video, there's a bunch of kelp and grass and weeds around, which usually means perch. And that's the first fish that you should probably try to target because it's the easiest fish to get and the most abundant. So let's get on that. If you're lucky enough to get some good visibility, you will likely be able to see your first fish from the surface. Right here I'm in about 10 feet of water, maybe 15, and you can see all of the fish swimming below me from the surface. These are perch. They hang out in the kelp and grass. I'm going to make a drop now to try to get one. By swimming along the bottom, you will effectively be camouflaging yourself from the fish. This is the best way to approach fish, and you're least likely to spook them and more likely to get close so you don't have to take a long shot. Once you've got your first fish, the next most important thing is fish care. You need to make sure that you take care of the fish by braining it and bleeding it in order to preserve the meat quality. If you can't get a good hold on the fish, it's best to put a finger or two in the gills, it's easier to hold on to, and then go about braining them and slicing the gills to bleed. This next fish is probably the most likely rockfish for you to run into, which is a black and yellow rockfish. And they like to hide in cracks and holes, and you'll probably find them pretty much anywhere you're thinking of diving. And even in the shallows, you might get lucky and run into some of our more rare rockfish, such as this cabezon here, which you can find in shallow water even, just like the rest. After warming up in shallow and getting a couple fish, we moved out a bit deeper to find some other rockfish. So pay attention here as I'm picking off some other types of rockfish, and also just enjoy as I take you through some dives.
Got an olive. Oh, nice.
Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe, and in the next beginner video I'll be going over how to check conditions.